The evening breeze swept gently across the narrow market street as Imran, a 32-year-old mechanic with tired eyes but a kind smile, closed the shutters of his modest workshop. Business had been painfully slow for weeks. Most people in the neighborhood fixed things themselves or waited until payday. But Imran still showed up every morning, hoping today would be different. His late father had always said, "Son, even if life gives you little, give others more." Imran lived by that. Just as he turned the key in the lock, a faint scraping noise echoed from the road behind him. He turned to see a woman, exhausted, anxious, struggling to push a wheelchair that was clearly falling apart. The small girl sitting in it clung to the armrest as the chair shook violently with every inch forward. One wheel wobbled at an angle so sharp it looked ready to snap off. Imran approached instinctively. "Assalamu alaikum, do you need help?" he asked. The woman hesitated, embarrassed, but relief washed over her face. "Wa alaikum salam, yes. I've been looking for someone, anyone, who can fix this. My daughter, she has therapy tomorrow. I can't miss another appointment." Her voice cracked as she spoke. The little girl looked at Imran, her eyes shining despite her discomfort. She was delicate, wearing a yellow scarf that fluttered softly in the breeze. "Mama, maybe he can fix it," she whispered hopefully. Imran crouched beside the wheelchair, running his fingers along the bent metal frame, the cracked footrest, the completely worn-out bearings. It wasn't just broken, it had been pushed far beyond its lifespan. Most mechanics would reject it. Expensive parts, long hours, no guarantee it would work even after repairs. He looked up. "What's her name?" "Alia," the mother replied. Imran gave the child a warm smile. "Well, Alia, let's see what we can do." They followed him inside the workshop. The lights flickered as he switched them on. Tools were old, some held together with tape, but the space had heart. Photos of repaired bicycles, old wheelchairs, and handwritten thank you notes covered the walls. "How much will it cost?" the mother asked, bracing herself. Imran paused. He saw the fear in her eyes, the fear of another door closing. He straightened up. "Nothing," he said gently. "I'll fix it for free." The mother froze. Alia's face lit up like the sun breaking through clouds. And in that moment, Imran had no idea how this simple act of kindness would change his life forever. Imran began working on the wheelchair early the next morning, long before the marketplace opened. The air was cool, and the sound of metal tools echoed softly in the empty shop. He placed Alia's wheelchair on the center table like a doctor preparing for delicate surgery. He had repaired wheelchairs before, but this one needed more than fixing, it needed saving. The front wheel was bent inwards, the bearings had rusted into powder, the footrest was cracked clean through, and the rear axle wobbled dangerously. Imran sighed. Replacing these parts would cost far more than he had. His own toolbox was thin, his bank account nearly empty. But every time he thought about stepping back, he remembered Alia's hopeful eyes and the mother's trembling voice. "This girl deserves a chance," he murmured to himself. He rummaged through boxes of scrap metal, old bicycle parts, and unused wheelchair fragments he had collected over the years. Piece by piece, he found what he needed: an old aluminum rod, a pair of bearings from a discarded stroller, a wheel rim he had once saved, just in case. He worked tirelessly, hands blackened with grease, sweat dripping down his neck. Hours turned into the entire day. By evening, his back ached and his fingers throbbed, but the wheelchair was slowly transforming. He straightened the frame, welded the cracks, polished the metal, and replaced the worn parts with stronger ones. He didn't just fix the chair, he made it better than before. The next morning, as the sun cast golden light through the dusty window, Imran took a deep breath and gave the finished wheelchair a final push. It rolled smoothly, silent, steady, perfect. His tired face broke into a smile. Moments later, the shop door creaked open. Alia and her mother entered, both anxious. "Is it ready?" the mother asked. Imran stepped aside. "Go on, try it." Alia hesitated before placing her hands on the wheels. She pushed gently, and the chair glided forward effortlessly. Her eyes widened. She pushed again, faster this time, laughter spilling from her like sunshine. "Mama, it moves. It doesn't hurt anymore." Tears filled the mother's eyes. She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. "How much do I owe you?" she whispered. Imran shook his head with a gentle smile. "It was an honor." The mother wiped her tears, looking at him with gratitude deeper than words. Neither of them knew that someone had been watching quietly from outside the entire time. 3 days passed after the repair, and life returned to its usual rhythm for Imran. The workshop remained quiet, customers were few, and the little income he earned disappeared quickly into bills. Still, he felt lighter these days, a happiness he couldn't explain. Maybe it was Alia's laughter echoing in his memory, or her mother's teary smile. Kindness had a strange way of filling spaces that money couldn't. On the fourth morning, as he swept dust from the entrance of his shop, he heard a sudden commotion in the marketplace. People gathered on the road, whispering, pointing toward the sky. A loud rumble grew louder, unusual, powerful. Imran stepped out, confused. A private jet, sleek, white, shining like silver in the sunlight, was descending toward the small private airstrip just beyond the town. Jets never came here, never. Moments later, a convoy of glossy black SUVs rolled down the narrow street, stopping right in front of his workshop. The doors opened in perfect synchronization, and men in suits stepped out. They looked like they belonged in another world, polished shoes, earpieces, professionalism radiating from every movement. The entire market fell silent, watching. A tall woman stepped out last, elegant, graceful, dressed in a navy blue business suit. She walked with purpose straight toward Imran's workshop. Imran froze, broom still in hand. Had he done something wrong? Was this a mistake? Are you Mr. Imran? She asked, her voice calm but carrying authority. Yes, that's me, he said cautiously. She extended a hand. My name is Sarah Malik. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Everyone knew the name, one of the richest entrepreneurs in the country. Owner of Malik Technologies. Philanthropist. Billionaire. Imran blinked, struggling to connect this high-profile woman with his modest shop. Sarah smiled. 3 days ago, you repaired a wheelchair for a little girl named Alia, for free. Yes, he replied softly. Her mother couldn't afford it. Sarah's expression softened. Alia is my daughter. Imran's heart stopped. He remembered the mother's tired face. He remembered the girl's laughter. He had never imagined they were connected to someone so powerful. My sister, Alia's mother, told me everything, Sarah continued. How you treated them with respect, how you repaired the wheelchair better than new, how you asked for nothing in return. She took a step closer. Mr. Imran, people like you are rare. Then she gestured toward the waiting SUVs. And today, we're here because your life is about to change. For a moment, Imran stood frozen, unsure if he was dreaming or trapped in some strange film scene. The bustling marketplace around him seemed to fade, all he could hear was the pounding of his own heartbeat. Billionaire Sarah Malik, here, in front of him, because of a simple act of kindness. Please, she said gently, come with me. The suited men stepped aside, creating a respectful pathway. Imran glanced at his dusty workshop, old tools, peeling paint, broken signboard. This tiny shop was his whole world. He wiped his hands nervously on his shirt and followed her toward the SUVs. Inside the luxurious vehicle, he sat stiffly, afraid even to touch the leather seats. The world outside blurred as they drove toward the small airport. Every second intensified his confusion. Why did you come here yourself? He finally asked, voice trembling. Sarah smiled warmly. Because gratitude should never be outsourced. As they arrived near the private jet, Alia came running down the steps, her repaired wheelchair gliding behind her with ease. Her laughter filled the air like music. Her mother followed, smiling proudly through tears. Uncle Imran, Alia shouted. Look, I can go fast now. Imran's eyes softened. Seeing her so full of joy made every struggle worthwhile. Sarah walked closer, her tone shifting to something deeply sincere. Imran, she said, you fixed her wheelchair when even experts refused. You worked all night so she wouldn't miss therapy. You didn't ask for money, recognition, or anything in return. She paused. That kind of heart can't be taught. It deserves to be lifted. She handed him a sleek envelope. Imran opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a formal offer letter, a fully funded scholarship to study advanced mechanical engineering at her company's training institute, plus a guaranteed job afterward. Salary, housing, benefits, more than he had dreamed of. I don't understand, he whispered. Why me? Because you already have the soul of an engineer, she said. You just never had the opportunity. Alia rolled closer and tugged his sleeve. Please say yes, uncle. You fix things like magic. Tears blurred Imran's vision. For years he had only survived. Now, suddenly, a door to a new life stood open. He knelt beside Alia, smiling through emotion he could barely contain. Yes, he whispered. I'll do it. The marketplace mechanic had no idea how far kindness could travel, until a little girl, a broken wheelchair, and a private jet changed his destiny forever.